Hi there, Rachelle Jones, Grief Recovery. I saw something today that I thought I'm going to talk a little bit about that and maybe give some ideas surrounding it. So this is what I saw. It was from Instagram. What is it? From Live Your Best Marriage. It says, oh, how do I get it to show? Always make plenty of room in your schedule for quality time with your spouse. So I'm going to cross out the word spouse and put people who are important to you. Okay, so spouse, children, perhaps for you, it's a best friend, a certain friend, a sibling, a parent. It could be anybody. It applies to everyone. But I know that can be a really elusive, I think, for some people, especially during holiday season being in full swing. Today's the 20th of December. So holiday season is in full swing. And a lot of that looks like busyness, right? It just does. We're busy trying to keep up, trying to survive, trying to just make it through, trying to avoid any pain, unresolved emotion that may be trapped in our heart called grief. We may be trying to meet others' expectations for all the different reasons. Okay. We can be really busy. And I thought I would share with you how I work my holidays. It's taken a while to start here. I would say the first thing that I did was go to a grief recovery method class. And that I went to because my father had died. I was heartbroken. And actually, it was the end of October, I think. But the class, it took a few weeks for me to get in, and then it was expanded through the holidays. So, but through that window, I learned a lot about myself through that class. And of course, learned how to feel better. One thing I did learn about feeling better is the idea of keeping busy and then time will pass. Both of those two concepts are completely untrue and incorrect. If you think about it, at the end of the holiday season, when you're done being so extraordinarily busy, you'd feel better, right? You'd feel refreshed, you'd feel light, you'd feel better. And do you actually feel that way after you've been really, really busy? Probably not, but I don't know. It's going to be individual for you, and you're going to have to think about how you really, really do feel at the end of being so busy. We at the Grief Recovery Method know that keep busy and time will heal your wounds. Those aren't true. We can be really productive using correct and effective information and action inside of time while it's moving, and then you will feel better for long term. You may have new things pop up that you need to work on, but you will feel better. You'll just have to always work on the new awareness, the new thing that pops up for you. So anyway, some things I've put into practice over the years with I do an enormous amount of personal recovery work and action for myself, and it's really unearthed me what feels right for me and gives me permission to make adjustments as necessary. It gives me permission to really acknowledge and like see deep beneath the surface what's truly best for my family. We have a neurodiverse home, and so as a neurotypical who really, really digs into emotional health and emotional recovery, and not just digs into it, but practices it for herself, for her family, and for you all. It means that I have to be aware of that. I can't just schedule ourselves into a tizzy. I've finally, after many years, a couple decades and a half, realized this has been about the last 5 years of busy doesn't do well here for especially the neurodiverse members of my family. And they may not be aware of it. They may not be able to catch it and stop it. And so, because I'm aware of it, it is my job to do that as much as I can, as much as it relies on me. I don't get to control everybody, no, but I know how to work the schedule of the family calendar and my own personal calendar to make this a more successful time so that the time spent together does feel like quality to me and then to other people. So something I do, so this is my 2023 calendar, um, which I would have bought in like July and August of 2020, no, two, yeah. and started to set that up. Look at this. This is my 2024 calendar. I bought this in July, August of this year, 2023. And then if you look, there are certain things already set up in here. As far as I can be, I've got the kids. One child's still in school. So I have her schedule for the next year as far as I can tell. I know I can kind of guesstimate when basketball camp is going to be and those kinds of things. Certain things that at times I want blocked. Holidays, look at where am I here? What is this? Is this November? Look at, I've got my November already set up because I know we go camping every year, and that's me. I drive that because it's important to me to get outside. But what I want you to see here is my December, and I have certain days that I've set up certain ways. So starting at December 19th, what does this say? It says Christmas groceries ordered and possibly delivered. It depends. I'll know more that year. Usually I pick up groceries these days, but there was time I was having them delivered. I was too full with work, and I thought that's just one thing I can ask for help with and not overwhelm myself. I used to not sleep. I used to sleep 2 or 3 hours a night. 4 would be a good night. Because I put myself so far on the back burner, meeting everyone else's expectations, that I was really just killing myself. And I probably did that for probably 15 years of our marriage. You can only imagine how not well that affected our home. Let's see, the 20th, it says wrapping gifts day. So if I haven't done it, then by the day of the 20th is blocked out already for that. At least there are pockets. So I know when I start scheduling things on that day, I need to have a good solid window to wrap gifts if I haven't. The 21st, it says odds and ends, deliveries, local deliveries to, people that I might have deliveries for. The 23rd is family dinner. Now this is a big one. These are solid. They're already in here for 24. This is how I roll. They're in every calendar. I have about 6 calendars that for different reasons, but they're in every calendar. Now the family dinner, I learned that we used to do like Christmas Eve. Well, we used to do Christmas Day. Christmas Day started to feel terrible. Once I went through class so many times. I applied the tools so much to myself that I started to become aware of Christmas Day. I don't like it. I feel as though my kids wake up, they have this exciting moment, and then we spend the day traveling. We live at least an hour from family, so we'd have to travel an hour. Yeah, plus I'd have to load up all the food, load up all the things, and then drive there, and then have the time there, and then drive an hour back and unload the car and that was the whole day. Well, that didn't feel great. I didn't feel like I had any time at all with my family, with my kids. That felt terrible. And I was doing that really because that's what was expected of me. That's how I grew up. And when I moved back as an adult, I sort of fell in line with that until I said, no, that doesn't work for me. And then we went to the 24th for a while. I don't know why they allowed me to say this. And then they always had permission to keep doing it the way they wanted, and we just wouldn't be there. But then they adjusted, they accommodated. So we went to the 24th. Well, the 24th felt junky because when my kids were little, we wouldn't get home until super late. And then I might have wrapping or some kind of something to do. Or if you participate in Santa, we did when the kids were young. And so, I would have to do the stockings and that kind of thing. And yeah, I would get to bed so late. I have a huge nasty back injury. So being up for a million hours, back and forth, not sleeping, leaning over, working, doing the things. I couldn't even walk Christmas Day. That did happen. I woke up, right? I truly army crawled the whole day. Talk about a stupid way to spend Christmas Day with your kids, just afraid and worried. So I didn't want to do that. And so then I landed on the 23rd. The 23rd feels right. And that's how it's been. So even just the other day, my mom, she said, Rachelle, we're going to do Christmas Day. Did you want to participate in Christmas Day? I know you don't like it. And I said, Mom, thank you so much. I love spending time with you, and I hate doing it Christmas Day. Please count us out. And that was the end of it, because I've been honest for so many years. It really is overwhelming for me. My body ends up hurting. I don't feel good. I don't feel fulfilled. I don't feel as though I had time with my kids. And I brought these kids into the world. So I want to feel like I have a moment with them, the whatever your belief system is. My belief system is God. So if God entrusted me with these two little kids, then I want to give them my heart and time and energy. And over the years, like I've said, we've learned that we are in our diverse home. So just being on the go, blah, 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 all the time, blah, 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 it's not good for their energy. And so I protect that. I protect that hard. Like I said, I've already got my 2024 calendar firmly put into place, and I've been able to express it. I've been able to express it because it's true emotionally for me. And that's a huge, huge, huge tool of learning and practice that we get to do in a grief recovery method is speaking our honest emotional truth. I feel overwhelmed. I feel bitter. I feel run down. I feel kind of resentful. My own emotional truth. I was allowed to speak it because I gave myself permission to speak it. Nobody, often, the people I'm speaking of, they don't really want to hear my emotional truth. I don't think, doesn't seem that way, but it's mine and I own it fully. And that's how it is. And so fortunately they have accommodated, and we do the 23rd as a family time to get together with extended family. Let's see, we've got more here. So that is a huge deal to me. The first thing is to give yourself permission to become aware of what feels right for you and what doesn't, and then to consider honoring what's emotionally true for you. You may need a grief recovery method class to get some beliefs out of the way that may be hindering you and holding you into the box of, no, I have to meet other people's expectations. This is what we've always done. And even if it's killing you or really, really hurting you and taking from your joy, if there's a belief system inside of you that's holding you to that, well, it's going to be really difficult. So a grief recovery method class would help you to not only become aware of some of those strongholds, but then to break them, release them so they aren't holding you back from what feels true and correct for you. And here's the thing, you can always go back to the drawing board and reassess. If you do a few years of, no, we only do it this way for the good of our health, our emotional health, then okay, there's that. And then maybe 5 years later, you reassess, you have permission. Nothing is, a lifelong sentence. You can always go back and reassess, but it starts with being aware and finding the courage through some route. For me, it's grief recovery method, to allow yourself to be honest with yourself and then be honest with others, and not so that they approve of you. We may not get their approval. We may not get their acceptance for what we're saying, but if it's true for you, you have to do what's right for you. We can't all be the same. We're not supposed to be, but we are supposed to be honest with what's true and correct for ourselves. So there's that. And what else? Scheduling time with your spouse or whoever is important to you, where you'd like to spend your time. So another thing that I do is not only to speak up and take control of my own time and calendar, I actually write things in the calendar. I started off with saying, I have an appointment. That's it. You don't have to qualify it by explaining what the appointment is. You can simply say, I have an appointment. I won't be available. I have an appointment. I don't say can't, because it's not that I can't. It's honestly that I'm choosing to not make myself available. So I want to be more honest in my speaking, and I say I won't be available for that. Thank you for inviting us. That's good. That sounds really fun. I hope you have a great time. You see, boo, period. I spoke my truth. I acknowledge what they were trying to say. I acknowledge their kindness for inviting us, and also spoke well and protected my time. So I have an appointment. I won't be making it to that. Thanks for inviting me. That's my flex, I would call it. I have an appointment. We have an appointment. We won't be available. Thanks for inviting us. So something, for example, I even have date night on here. My husband and I often do that, but specifically around Christmas time, we call it a staff party. We call it a staff party. We run this home. We run this MFR, okay? And so we have it scheduled, and I usually take care of all the Christmas and stuff. I've been done since the end of November with all of my puzzle that I put together to manage our Christmas holiday. And so I've been done since November, and I've been completely wrapped in everything under the tree since the beginning of December. That's how I do it, because I know that I don't like the idea of cramming all this stuff, these extra needs outside of the day to day into this one window. So I save all year. Every month I save, I put some aside and it goes in an account where nobody touches it. And then when I see, that's good for that person for Christmas, then I have a little bit of cash to pull for these purposes. So then we also don't fall into a deep, stressful debt, because shopping can get out of control. And I just don't personally like the way debt feels on me outside of obviously a home. I have that forever. But especially living in California, I'm gonna have that forever. But anyway, so these are some ways I put money aside, whatever you can, every month. That helps me financially. That helps me to manage my finances. I manage my time by saying, I have an appointment. We won't be available, or I won't be available. Thank you for inviting me. And then I actually physically write things down as well that I think are valuable, such as date night. We call it the staff party for this particular one. We have a staff party. I have it written for December of 2024. The staff party is going to be, meaning my husband and I, is Friday, December 20th. It's already there. It's done. You see what I'm saying? I take control of my time instead of letting it take control of me. And that's a way for me to manage my emotional energy at this time. Let's face it, the holidays are a sensitive time. Not only are there more needs and time demands on you, but there's also sometimes a sensitivity where unresolved emotion is starting to bubble up. Whoever we're missing, or even wish we could have said something more to differently to a breakup, a divorce, whatever it might be, someone who moved away, we may just become aware that our heart's really hurting at this time of year. When our heart's hurting, it affects our concentration, it affects our energy, it affects our focus, it affects our ability to be present, it affects our health, to be honest. So that's another way. That's another reason I really take control of the calendar, to help avoid overwhelm, being in a neurodiverse home, avoiding their overwhelm, which is going to leave me feeling overwhelmed, to really create quality blocks of time. So truly it's written family game time, family dinner, meaning are inside the home. I have it scheduled when we'll be outside the home, when we'll be inside the home, and kind of how we'll use the time. I'm not militant about it. It doesn't have to be regimented of, I said it's game time at this time and we're gonna do game time. It's not like that. It's just so that the time is protected, so that I have the opportunity to use that time in some way. Maybe we don't do game night. Maybe we make Oreo balls. I don't know. But the point is, the time had been set aside. And maybe you can do a sip of that this year. Maybe you can watch this year to help you do next year differently in a way that feels better. What you need to remember, busyness does not heal the wounds in your heart. Living by everyone else's expectations is keeping you approval addicted, and it's not going to heal the wounds in your heart. Shopping is a short-term fix for that pain in your heart. That's not going to work. That's not going to heal the wounds in your heart. Just waiting for time to go by as you're staying super busy, that's not going to heal the wounds in your heart. Correct information and effective action is what's going to heal the wounds in your heart. Grief Recovery Method class can teach you what those actions are that are evidence-based, proven to help you heal the wounds in your heart. And then once the wounds are healed, you also have a little bit of freedom to decide how you actually want to spend your time and go forward. And being that it's a holiday time, I think that's valuable. I think that's your biggest flex. It's mine. Maybe it's not yours. That's fine. That's okay. I don't know how you spend your holidays, but if you need some ideas, hopefully you found something here. I love you. Bye, everybody.